Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron. It is the player ratings. Everton 0, Aston Villa 2 today at Goodison Park. Sean Dyche's first defeat at Goodison since taking over as the Everton manager. A game that, let's be honest, we all saw coming. I've said it for the last couple of weeks on the bounce. I've just said it in the instant match reaction. If you don't take your chances, then sooner rather than later, it will come back and bite you on the arse. And that's exactly what we saw today. We won the last couple of games at Goodison thanks to a brilliant finish in one of them and a goal from a corner in another one of them. But in both of those games, we missed opportunities that I quite frankly believed would come back and bite us if we were to miss them in later games on in the season. And this was exactly that situation. We had moments, we had, the ball in areas that we could have created opportunities from, forward players with the ball in and around the 6-yard box that are terrified to shoot. And unfortunately, when that happens and then you don't get a goal from a corner or you don't get a goal from, 25 yards out and then you give away a penalty, which, by the way, I've just seen actually again, and Gana Gueye does win the ball, so I apologise to Gana Gueye for the comments I made on him in the instant match reaction. I originally thought he didn't win the ball and therefore it still is a mistake that's led to a goal, of course it is, but he actually has won the ball, according to the replay I've just seen. So when you give away a penalty and you concede, then it's pretty much game over from that point in it. As I said, we have just done the instant match reaction. If you want to go and check that out, then please do so. It is available on the channel now. For now, it is the player ratings. We're going to give every player a rating between 1 and 10. 1, of course, being the worst, 10 being the best. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. Jordan Pickford. I'm going to give him a 7. Obviously, there is nothing he could do for the penalty. A penalty is a penalty, and if you can see the penalty, it's not very often the goalkeeper's fault, especially if the goalkeeper hasn't given it away. He made a big save early on in the game. I think it was to deny Ollie Watkins at one point in the first half, where Ollie Watkins was practically one-on-one, and he come running out and made himself big and made the save to deny Ollie Watkins. Could he have done better for the goal? I haven't seen it back, but typically when a footballer absolutely smashes the ball at you, at the speed that Emi Buendia did, from the distance Emi Buendia did, it's very, very, very unlikely to be able to make that save from that area as well. So I don't particularly blame Jordan Pickford for anything. I don't think he was absolutely unbelievable. I don't think he made many sort of world class saves that you look and you go, oh my god, how brilliant. But yeah, I just thought he was all right. Vitaly Mykolenko, I'm going to give him a 6.5 today. I actually think he got forward more today than he has done in any recent Everton game that I can remember from memory. That doesn't necessarily mean that he offered anything going forward, because he didn't. But at least he was there. At least he got forward. At least he got himself into those areas to be able to put a cross in or to be able to play a 1-2 with Dwight McNeil. He seemed much more positive in his play overall. He seemed much more he wanted to get forward and make an impact on the game. So he didn't ultimately, because we didn't score a goal, but at least he looked a little bit better today than what he has done. James Tarkowski, then, I'm going to give James Tarkowski a 6.5 as well. I thought he was okay. Thought he defended relatively well. Thought he, every time he needed to be called for and to come out and, make a challenge or intercept the ball or put himself in the way, he did that. Could he have done better for either of the goals? I actually think he could have done so much better for the chance that Ollie Watkins missed that Jordan Pickford saved. Jordan Pickford made a really, really good save at one point from an Ollie Watkins header that, Ollie Watkins was just stood on his own in the middle of the area with all of the time in the world to head a goal. And I think James Tarkowski could have done much better for that situation. But other than that, I thought he was all right. Connor Cody next to him. I'm going to give Connor a 5.5. I just don't think he was particularly great today. I think there were a couple of moments where he lost the ball, a couple of moments where he was caught out of possession, a couple of moments where his positioning wasn't particularly great. And look, I'm not going to sit here and go in on him for 15 minutes, because ultimately, had we have won that game, I don't think we'd be really pinpointing any of this stuff. But we haven't won the game, and therefore, these things become more noticeable, and these things become more, more focused for points of discussion, because ultimately, I think there were different moments that Conor Cody maybe could have done a little bit better in that he didn't. So yeah, he's getting a 5.5. Seamus Coleman, I'm going to give him a 5.5 as well. Thought, again, similarly, moments that he could have done better in, moments that he could have moved the ball. I don't think he was poor by any sense of the imagination. I don't think he was, he was awful. I just don't think he was very involved. I just don't think he was very involved at all. Couple of times he got done down that right hand side, especially in that second half towards the last 15-20 minutes, when Aston Villa were really sort of hitting us on the counter attack, and we were struggling to keep up with it. But yeah, he didn't have a woeful game, I suppose. He was just there. Into the midfield then, Doucouré. I'm gonna give Doucouré a 5 today. Yeah, he just ran round, didn't he? Really, again, couple of good movements with the ball, couple of good sort of takedowns and knocking it inside and then moving off with it. But I just have this feeling that every time Abdoulaye Doucouré does something really good with the ball, that it's by accident, and that isn't just to have a go at him or to target him or to try and be petty, but it's more to do with the fact that he has moments where he's got the ball in control and he's got in a really good area, i.e. the 6-yard box. He had another one today where he had the ball with plenty of time, plenty of space in the box, and he's just like a giraffe sometimes. His feet just don't seem to do what his brain's telling him to do, and we end up losing the ball or we end up missing the opportunity. So yeah, for me, this is the third game on the bounce now that Abdoulaye Doucouré has had an opportunity in and around the box that he hasn't taken or he hasn't made the most out of, and those are the types of things that mean that you lose these types of games, when you don't take those chances and when you don't take those opportunities and when you do piss about with the ball in the box. It ends up coming and biting you on the arse. So yeah, I just don't think he was very effective today, and again, he had another opportunity that he should have done better with. Onana, I'm going to give him a 6. Again, not his greatest of games for Everton. Thought he was obviously sort of on the back foot the moment he was given a yellow card in the opening 90 seconds of the game. A yellow card, by the way, for A, the first challenge of the game, and B, a challenge that the referee never seen. The referee today, by the way, we spoke about him in the instant match reaction. He's a disgrace. He's an absolute disgrace of a human being. He's a waste of energy. He's a waste of a t-shirt. He's just an absolute fool. He's a fool, Anthony Taylor, an absolute fool. It wasn't his fault. Ultimately, we lost, but it was his fault that Amadou Onana was given a yellow card within the first 20 seconds because he just didn't seem to like Amadou Onana for whatever reason. But yeah, from that point on, his game was ultimately hindered because he couldn't throw the challenges in like he usually would. He threw one in that was a really, really good challenge, but again, you could see that he was sort of hesitant to get involved. He was hesitant to get into the physical battle because he ultimately knew that at any given moment the referee was going to send them off given the opportunity, because Anthony Taylor was desperate for Aston Villa to win that game of football today. So yeah, he was on the back foot from that moment, and because of that, I don't think he was ever particularly in the game. Yeah, not as great as the games. Gana then, if you'd have asked me this 10 minutes ago, I'd have said Gana was getting a 3 because he's once again, he's once again made the mistake that has directly led to a goal, and he still has, in a way, because the penalty was ultimately given and it led to a goal. But I've just seen the replay then, and he very clearly gets a touch on the ball, and for me, if that's the other way around and that's Tyrone Mings, then it's not given, or VAR certainly overturns it. And I can't really sit here and have too much of a go at Gana when he's slid in for the challenge, won the ball, and then the referee's given a penalty because the referee's a wanker. It'd be unfortunate to me to sit here and have a go. And for that, having said that, I'm still going to give him a 5 because I don't think he had a very good game whatsoever. Again, similar to Onana, he wasn't really in it. He wasn't really involved. Ultimately, he did make the challenge that led to the penalty, even though it shouldn't have been a penalty. But overall, he wasn't really involved. He didn't really get involved much. He always seemed sort of off the pace. He always seemed off the boil a little bit. And because of that, ultimately, I thought, whilst Everton controlled the game, I think, for the most part, certainly in that first half, I don't think the midfield were particularly controlling. So yeah. Onto the forward line then, Iwobi, I'm going to give him a 5. I don't think he was involved whatsoever. A couple of moments where, his dribbling was good or his feet were quick or he got himself out of a situation. But generally, overall, I don't think he was very involved whatsoever today. Incredibly quiet. And I think had he have not been there, we wouldn't have really missed him. McNeil on the other side. Do you know what? I actually don't think Dwight McNeil had a particularly bad game. In the terms of him on the ball. I thought on the ball he was okay. Thought he put a couple of good menacing crosses into the box, especially in that first half as well, down that left-hand side. Couple of good balls in. But it's very difficult to sit here and give him anything more than like a 6.5 because he's a forward and you expect your forwards to be able to A, use both feet, which he simply can't, and B, have the confidence to hit a ball when it falls to you on the edge of the box or when it falls to you in a good area. And Dwight McNeil just doesn't do that. He doesn't hit a ball. He doesn't have a goal. He doesn't, he just doesn't do any of that. So it's difficult for me to sit here. And, whilst I think individually he was okay and I thought he worked hard and he put himself about and he put a couple of good crosses in, I also can't stop thinking of that opportunity where the ball falls to him in the box and his first instinct is to look for the pass to Mopé rather than to get a shot off. That's just, for me, that's just unforgivable. It really, really, really is unforgivable. So, yeah, he's getting a 6.5. And then Mopé up front, Mopé's getting a 5.5. Again, similarly, worked hard, ran round, put himself about a little bit, but the reality of the situation is just not good enough. Nowhere near good enough. Doesn't shoot, can't seem to score. Yeah, just nowhere near good enough. Onto the bench then, TheMighty Gueye, 5. I don't blame him, but he didn't come on and do anything. Maybe that's the reason as to why he's not getting in the team. Tom Davies, 4. Come on, didn't do anything. Lost the ball at his first chance, and other than that, had a bit of a fight, had a bit of a scruffle, but other than that, nothing. And then Ellis Sims, I give Ellis Sims a 5 as well. Again, I can't sit here and give TheMighty Gueye a 5 and then give Ellis Sims any higher. Ellis Sims had no impact on the game when he come on either. Not that that's his fault, but that's just the fact of the matter. So there you go. They're the play ratings. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you've enjoyed it, please do leave a like. Don't forget to go and check out the instant match reaction if you haven't already. We'll be back with the game review on Monday, so don't forget to look out for that one. But until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Big thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.